What's going on, guys? Jordan here, back with another video. Stoltz Fit YouTube channel. It's workout day, and we're gonna hit shoulders today. Only shoulders in today's workout, and traps, I guess. I kind of include that with shoulder days typically. I don't really like traps on back days, even though technically the traps are part of the back and not the shoulders. But I kind of find traps get a lot of work from back work, like heavy rows, deadlifts, stuff like that. So I choose to do them on shoulder day. That's what I'm going to do. A couple trap movements, a lot of volume on shoulders. You've seen my workouts if you've been watching any of the channel. It's not high volume. Volume's starting to raise up now a little bit that we're separated from the deload a little bit more. Shoulders, I like to hammer. It's a body part I want to grow. I've seen a lot of growth in over the last few years, and a lot of that's coming from high volumes, intensity techniques, drop sets, slow reps, pauses, all that kind of stuff. You know, there's only so much you can do for shoulders, pretty much lateral raises, shoulder presses, and I mean, that's about it. I like to get rear delt work on back days as well because it's a row essentially that causes the rear delts to grow and hit stimulus. So we're just hitting side delts and front delts pretty much with today's workout. I'm starting out with a cable shoulder press just to kind of get things warmed up and started. This gives a lot of tension throughout a pressing motion. The bar kind of stays out in front of you and gets your front delts going a little bit. I kind of see this as like a warm-up movement, and it does stimulate the shoulders a little bit, but it's definitely not going to be the best hypertrophy exercise of all time. Just the constant tension on the cables is nice, and it's a good press to get things going. Then we'll get into some more lateral raises, front raises, that kind of stuff for today. We're going to hit it all. I've already done one set of 12 with 90 pounds on this cable press. We're going to hit 3 more sets. So the movement might look a little bit awkward, but it actually feels pretty good as far as tension in a shoulder press is concerned. Of course, it is a front delt movement through and through, and triceps at the top, which is why I actually don't really lock out. Just kind of get that tension for the shoulders, and then the good stuff kind of comes later. But I like this as a starter. All right, that's all done. We're gonna go down to now seated, kind of a slight incline, but mainly upright lateral raises for sets of 10 with drop sets at the end. And then we're gonna hit front raises in the same fashion. So that'll be the bulk of the shoulder work today, and then we'll do a little bit more lateral raises and stuff, but that'll be what gets the job done today. We're going to use straps on this. I'm going to put on the Versa grips for the lateral raise variations. Really, that's just to be able to focus a little more on driving the elbows up. We're going to start light with a set of 15, kind of work up the weight to sets of 10. So these are 15s. Yeah, that was a pretty easy 15. We're going to do 12 with the 20s now. As you guys probably know, the weight adds up fast for shoulders, though. Okay, first set of 10. We're going to do one normal set of 10, then a really heavy set with 2 drops afterwards to get in some crazy volume. This one's going to be clean 10. The next 10 might look a little bit sloppier on purpose. So I'm using these dumbbells today for this instead of my nicer adjustable dumbbells because these are easier to strip weight on and off of. I like these Titan Fitness dumbbells. Like this one, you see me chest press these probably. Those are nicer dumbbells. They feel better. They're easier to support on the knees and have as long of collars and everything, but these are quicker to move weights on and off of since I don't have like a full dumbbell rack in the gym. if you're doing drop sets in the gym, it's quite easy just to grab other dumbbells. At home, you got to kind of strip weight off really quick, and the quicker the collars come off, the better. So my adjustable dumbbells have like spinning nuts that go on them to adjust. These barbell looking dumbbells have, I got the lock jaws on there, so it's a quick little flip, lever, slide off a weight plate. I'm using 5s and then 2.5s for this, and then pop off a 2.5 on each side for a 5-pound drop. Throw the collar back on, snap it. Something like a Bowflex dumbbell would be even better because you could just turn the dial, or a power block or something like that. But I'm making do with what I have, and to be honest, guys, it's not that serious, Whether your drop set has 5 seconds rest or 20, it doesn't make that big a difference. Drop sets probably don't even do anything anyways. Just makes it more intense, better pump and everything. So do whatever you can do and work with what you got. Getting things perfect and right on is not a big deal, at least for me. So we'll hit 10. This will be a sloppy, intense 10. And then we'll drop set 10 and then drop set 10 again down to just the 20s. These are 30s right now. And then reps should look clean on those lighter sets. All right, that's the 10. Slide it off, each side. One more time. Same exact thing now, front raises this time instead of lateral raises. So we're gonna be sitting on the incline. I'm gonna keep the straps on just in case grip's an issue. It shouldn't be. We're gonna raise up, neutral, turn the handles a little bit. I don't know, take biceps out of it a little bit. Focus on the front delt, I guess. One of those things that's not a big deal either. If you like neutral grip, that's fine too. If you're moving the shoulder in this motion, you're working the front delts. Front delts is something I want to work on. I mentioned earlier, like I'm not doing rear delts at all in today's workout because I like to pair them with back. Just one exercise. They get hit a lot with any high row. That's rear delts. I think they're kind of, for the most part, hit sufficiently with just back work for people. Front delts technically are too with pressing. If you do a lot of chest pressing, incline pressing especially, you're hitting front delts a lot. I kind of wanted to work on front delts along with sides, so I'm going to hit them for 1 or 2 movements today. When I was younger in my training, I did a lot of rear delt work, isolation-wise, band pull-aparts, rear delt flies, stuff like that, just because I was kind of told rear delts is kind of what makes the round shoulder, and people typically lag there, which is true up until you become really trained in your back too, and then it kind of gets enough work, I think. Side delts are where you really want the majority of your shoulder action, which is what I am focusing on, adding some front raises into. So let's get started. Banger of songs playing on the stereo that you probably can't hear. So this is a set of 15. I'm starting with the 20s for this. Front delt's a little stronger than side, hopefully. Could we do them together? Yes. So that was a good 15. Actually challenging, hard to control on the way down. For my set of 12, I'm going to stay here at 20 pounds. You don't have to go heavy. Shoulders, maybe I'm just weak, but shoulders just need a lot of tension and a lot of volume, I think. So I'll stick here. We'll do a set of 12 and then the 2 10s, just like the side raises. I might pop on a couple 2.5s to bump these up to 25, but more than increasing the weight, I kind of want to just control the reps. So that was my 15. My 12, I'll just try to control them a little bit more and avoid too much swinging and stuff. I like them together though, instead of one arm at a time. All right, that's a challenging 12. We are going to stay there for both sets of 10. I think making that call fatiguing fast and increasing the weight would just be sloppy reps, bad form at this point. So we're going to stay at the 20s. Front delts, see, they need a lot of work. I think they should be a lot stronger than this compared to side raises, but they're not. The range of motion is higher. Like from here to here is a lot longer path than here to here. So that could have something to do with it too, that each rep is taking longer. The time under tension is higher. But we're going to do 20s for all the sets. For the 2 drop sets is going to be 15 and then 10. So it's going to be a pain in the butt to drop weights completely off of this dumbbell handle and put new weights on. So I'm just going to grab plates. And that's always an option too. If you're doing drop sets or you're in a home gym, nothing magical about a dumbbell sticking each weight past your hands. Little advantage maybe on biceps, so you can get a little supination and move that weight around. That's part of the biceps action. Something like a lateral raise or a shoulder or rear delt, all the time I'll grab plates. So I will set, we'll probably do 12.5s and 10s instead of 15s and 10s, just so I don't have to grab 3 plates because I am out of 5s. So I'll grab a 2.5 and a 10 on each hand, do my front raises, drop off the 2.5, use my 10s, and finish off. That'd be it. No drop on that one, but I'll get my drop set weights ready. 10 drop, 10 drop, 10. Here we go. Again, this 10 might be sloppier. Oh yeah, they're burning. Drop 2.5s. Okay, we're gonna do some more side delts now. I'm gonna do the prone lying lateral raise that I did in the shoulders and chest video a couple weeks back. That's a go-to for me, good isolator. When you're lying face down, you really get all your momentum out of it. Kind of like sitting, but even more so. So I'm gonna actually rep 1, start with a pause up top, get some good isometric contraction there. When I can't hold the cable stack to the top of the stack anymore and it starts dropping, then we're going to go into a normal 10 reps for the lateral raises. That should fry the side delts pretty good. Front delts got worked by those drop sets with the high incline. I can't even hold the tripod right now. Just goes to show you, it doesn't take a lot of weight to get good stimulus, and actually trying to like PR on something like lateral raises or front raises is kind of stupid anyways. That's really not where your focus should be, especially in something small like shoulders, biceps, forearms. Just work the muscle, get out. So we're gonna hit these lying lateral raises. I will film 1 set of these and do 4. Pretty good. 4 sets of that. We'll smoke them. I don't think I'm going to add weight. Slow down the reps, if anything. Those are done. Let me tell you guys a story about my leg session yesterday, which I didn't film. It was a hamstring focused. I got to put down this tripod with my shoulders tight, dude. I can't even lift them. Anywho, it was a hamstring focused leg workout. Every good workout, I believe, should have a primary muscle group and a secondary muscle group. And the way the workout template should run is you hit 2-3 movements for your main muscle group, and then kind of have like a transition movement to where the bias starts to shift to the secondary muscle group. In this leg day I did, it was straight leg deadlifts, hamstring curls, box squats. So that third exercise, still a little bit hamstring focused because you're sitting back onto a box, but it starts to bias a little bit more to the quad, right? Because you are still squatting. The movement after that was leg extensions. So you're doing actual quad work after that. That's what I'm doing now with this shoulder day. We're focused on the delts, front and side. So we did side raises, front raises. Now we're shifting into trap work, which means I'm not gonna do shrugs yet. That's the main movement for my secondary muscle. But we're gonna do this transition movement to where the bias starts to move towards the traps, which is gonna be an upright row today with a wide grip. So we're gonna go up. That's gonna be working a little bit of the trap because you are, rowing upwards or shrugging, which is a function of the trap. The other day I showed this as well. I was doing a back day with forearms. So eventually towards the end of the workout, I stopped using the grips, right? I did cable rows with the kcal grips, just gripping the neutral handles. And you could even implement like fat bars and stuff like that at this point. So kind of keep that in mind as you structure your own training, to have a first muscle, a second muscle, and a transition movement between the two where the bias starts to kind of shift the needle over to that second one without a full-on switch. So for chest and tris, it might look like, bench press, dumbbell incline, chest fly, and then dips, because that's starting to bias triceps, or a close grip press or a floor press or something like that, instead of just jumping right into something like push downs. So we're doing that now with upright rows, kind of like this whole shoulder day. It doesn't take much, lightweight. This is 75 pounds. We're gonna hit a lot of sets though. We're gonna hit 5 or 6 sets of these upright rows to get a lot more volume for the side delts. So we'll hit 10. I got the rack set up here at a height that's about mid thigh. So each rep should come to where the rack is right below the bar. At rep 10, I'll set down the bar for kind of like a rest pause, do a rep, put it down, do a rep with those dead stop kind of Pendlay row style upright rows. Be able to squeak out a few more towards failure. So maybe 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, maybe even, instead of just the 10. But the first 10 got to be clean without setting it down. I'm going to do middle fingers on the rings on the barbell. So pretty wide grip and upright row for 10. Good reps. Set down. 11, 12, 13, 14. Call it 14. So what you're doing here is you're kind of stopping the tension, and then also from the pins, you use a little bit of power to get it up, right? It's almost more like a beginning of a hang clean there at the end. So it's kind of a way to use momentum, or at least you're generating force with your legs off the pins instead of just a constant up and down motion. I was able to get 14 and a half, we'll call it. I call it 14 on the logbook, with a weight that I probably would have stopped at 10 on. Good way to kind of get more approaches toward failure. Rest pause to do the same thing. If I did 10 reps, set it down for 10 seconds, did 5 more, that would maybe even be more effective. But we're gonna stick with this method right now and hit this for like 5 or 6 more sets. We're sticking with the high volume type work today. Now the upright rows are done. I did 6 sets of anywhere from 13 to 15 if you add on those kind of momentum reps from the pins. So side delts and everything's toasted, done, lots of volume. I'm also gonna hit 2 shrug variations now that I've trying to transition to that part of the workout. For trap movements, you can pretty much row or shrug. So I'm gonna shrug, work on upper traps, essentially, just this part right here. So normally I could do dumbbell shrugs for sets of 10 to 12 with maybe like, I don't know, 75s, 80s, something like that. I'm gonna use 45s, a little lighter. We're gonna hit sets of 30. We're hitting 30 reps, 3 sets of 30, and then we're gonna hit 3 sets of 10. So it's gonna be 6 sets of dumbbell shrugs, 120 total reps, and then we're cable shrugs afterwards as well for sets of 20. So we should be upwards near 200 reps of shrugging today. with a lot of high volume on the traps. This is one of those days where, like I talked about in the goals at 30 years old video, you can call it functional. I'm going to call it just useful for me. Work capacity on the traps. So stuff like strongman where you're carrying things, you need strong traps, a lot of shoulder stability. And then actually literally working on a farm, you need that work capacity in the traps to not get burned out holding something for a long time. And that's what this is going to be. Long sets of 30. We're going to bang these out. High volume. Let's go. So of course, if you're hitting a set of 30, you would want to strap up ideally. Versa grips ready here again. Few ways to hit traps, I think. You could hit traps heavy with power. Heavy deadlifts will build the traps. Heavy farmer works will stretch the traps and build them a little bit. There's a lot of fatigue cost to that, right? If you do heavy deadlifts, it's going to toast other things too. You could do perfect form shrugs with good squeeze. That's the majority of the work I do. So don't get me wrong, from the high volume stuff, that's not how you build the traps solely. The majority of your trap work should be in the 10 to 20 rep range with good squeezes, full range of motion, full stretch, full squeeze up top, maybe a pause even. This day's a little special, calling it just the high volume day to really toast things up here. So how many times can I say toast in one video? This is crazy. I'm going to hit these 45s. We'll see if I can get 30. Like what you can hit for 30 is a straight guess anyways. But again, if it's 20, 25, does it really matter? Probably not. Believe it or not, reps 1 through 20, super easy. 20 to 30, started to feel it harder to get to a full squeeze. Range of motion started to be cut off. I'm not wrecked by any means. You got to keep in mind as you do things, how many sets you're doing. I'm doing 6, right? Sets of 10 will have a slow eccentric, so more contraction. I'm going to keep the weight and trust the accumulated reps will fatigue me without increasing weight without it being needed to. So we'll rest about 1 minute and then hit these again. Those burned a lot more. I tried to slow them down a little bit at the beginning. So 1 more set of 30, 3 sets of 10 with slow eccentrics. Okay, last set of 10. If I could do this over again, I would probably stick with this for the 30s, 30 rep sets, and then actually increase the weight by 10 or 20 pounds for the 10 reps. The 10 rep sets with the slow eccentrics turned out to be a lot easier than I thought. Just kind of having fun experimenting, but trying to make long sets has to take a long time. Do high reps or long reps. These aren't too bad with the slow eccentrics. Next move we're going to do is we're going to do cable shrugs with, you can use a D handle if you had a handle with neutral grips. I'm going to use the kind of cable row setup I showed you on the YouTube channel with the kind of rock climbing type grips, the kcal grips. I'll hold it at the cable row station so it doesn't tip the cable rack over, and start with it really low. We'll do 10 shrugs, standing with it, going up and down as close to our body as we can. Take a step back, 10 shrugs, back a little bit more. So you're kind of going upper trap, bias lower trap, upper trap, bias lower trap for 3 sets of, it'll end up being 20. And cable shrugs are beautiful if you've never tried them. To get nice tension like cables give you is invaluable for any body part, and especially small ones, things like biceps, triceps, of course large ones like back as well. So we're going to hit these, try to set this up in a place you can see it. First 10 shrugs here. Take a step back. workout's complete. I'm gonna have a little bit of food. Calories are, as the title says, about 3,300, 3,400 per day. Typically average around 3,320. This is a weight loss phase, so trying to cut body fat. To be able to cut on 3,300, 3,400 calories is real nice. This cut started on like 3,450 or something like that. Has dropped about 100 or so since then. So that's a good thing in itself. I made a video about that, how I can cut on so many calories, and make sure you go watch that. It has to do with a lot of weight training over a lot of years, a really, really high step count, and just kind of being patient with that whole process to be a really active person with a high lean body mass. That's essentially what it is. Genetics also play a small role in that, but I used to be able to maintain my weight on about 2,600 calories per day. Now I can maintain my weight on 3,500 calories a day, or even a little bit more. So that is very nice to be able to eat more and diet. Workouts are better because of it. I'm having some tomatoes that I'm cutting and 4 string cheese as like a post-workout meal, so to speak. It's already about 4 o'clock, so not gonna eat something huge. Having fajitas tonight. Looking forward to that. To finish up here and talk a little bit more about the training, to be able to bias muscle groups is a huge, huge skill in training. And that's kind of the point of today's video, I guess, if you're taking anything out of it or if anyone's watching it at all. Learn how to bias muscle groups for your weaknesses, for your split, and what you want to work on. So you could do like I did today. You train two body parts in a workout and start to bias it as the workout goes on. You could also talk about biasing in the sense of focusing on something you want to build. If you complain about your arms being small, but every back and bicep day you do 5 back exercises before you even get to biceps, that's not really biasing or prioritizing, is it? Instead, in that person's scenario, you would hit your biceps first. Let them be the limiting factor. Put the focus and priority on the group you want to grow. If you have small calves, do calves first on your leg days, not at the end as an afterthought with 3 sets of 20 calf raises. Same goes for any body part you want to build. The only exception to that rule, I think, is grip and forearms, because you don't want to fatigue your grip too much if that's going to be a limiting factor. And the exercises you can do is probably fine on like a chest day or something. Anyways, that's the concoction that I made. Cheese and tomatoes, snack of champions. 3,320 calories. I'm at 203.2 or something like that. So I started this cut at about 207 to 209, fluctuating in there. So dropped about 5 pounds on average, and we might end it soon. Don't have a lot of body fat to cut, just kind of cleaning things up a little bit. And then, of course, going to embrace fall and its fallness as it comes. But that'll do it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching another one and doing this shoulder and trap workout with me. Give it a shot. Use the template of the multiple shoulder exercises, biasing into traps. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment. Talk to you guys later. Peace.